From Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today, if you don't mind, I would very much like to continue on with our discussions on 1970s disaster movies. And I'd like to focus our attention today, if I may, on another very memorable work, this time from 1978. And the filmmaker is Rene Cardona Jr. The cast is another very memorable one. It includes, for example, Arthur Kennedy, Carol Baker, Lionel Stander, Hugo Stiglitz, Olga Carlatos, Andres Garcia, and others. What an extraordinary assembly. And this is a very multi-leveled film which is so thoroughly entertaining for reasons that I'll try to explain as we go along. This is the film which is called Cyclone. This happens to be the Synapse Films DVD release of this, and this is the English language dub version, the international version of this. And so there's a lot of entertainment value that is associated when watching this film, I would suggest, in the English dub version. And I'll try to get to that later as well. If we were to focus on this plot of the film, this extraordinary film, I think we could focus in on this particular part of the world, this island, this Caribbean island area, and we have the community inland, and then we also have a group of characters that we follow. There is a group of characters that are on a tourist boat that is out to sea, and then we have a group of characters that are on a fishing boat, and then we have yet another group of characters that are in an airplane, passengers and crew on an airplane. And as these three various points are doing what they are doing, all of a sudden there comes this very violent storm, this cyclone that hits, and it causes damage and wreaks havoc, and it causes our three sets of characters to become very greatly affected. So we have the fishing boat out to sea, we have the tourists on the tourist boat stranded in the middle of the ocean, and then we have the passenger airplane crashing in a most spectacular scene into the ocean, and then the survivors having to get out in their life jackets and fend for themselves in the open waters. And then eventually they are managed to find each other in the middle of the ocean, stranded, lost, not knowing where they are, and not being able to find any signs of civilization around them. And so this is the focus of the film, if you will. There is the storm aspect, the cyclone, which could be said to be the disaster element, but then what follows or what ensues is a film about survival, and survival on this boat, and will they or won't they, and what exactly will happen in this very drastic situation, and will they get rescued, will they be found, and therein lies the story. And you add into that details like the drama on the ship or on the boat, and you have people inland trying to rescue the survivors if there are any, trying to find them if there are any, the various family members that we meet on land trying desperately to find some information or something about their loved ones. And also out to sea, lost at sea, we have our cast of characters, and there are some pretty sinister elements along the way. People try to survive, people try to get food, fish for food, but it's to no avail. And so what will people do? To what extremes will people go in order to survive. And then we get other elements like the possibilities of cannibalism, rationing, dogs, sharks, and the elements. This is the film Cyclone. Now, for those who know the works and the filmography of the filmmaker Rene Cardona Jr., you will probably understand that his filmography is one that has a lot of films that are described as being exploitation B-movie films. And in that way, this film Cyclone can also be seen to be very much in the B-movie vein. This has certain elements of, say, a low-budget feel. It is a B-movie through and through. And I think this version, the international English dub version, has some very memorable, funny, campy dialogue. Perhaps it's intentionally funny, sometimes it might be unintentionally funny, but in any event, it is thoroughly entertaining in that respect. There is a particular line of one of the people that is stranded on the boat, and it's in English: "Our only hope is that they find us before it's too late." And this is the type of thing I'm trying to refer to, which is that even in the unintentional, funny, campy, outrageous moments, this film provides lots and lots and lots of entertainment value. For those who, say, don't like this type of film, for those who don't like the B-movie genre, then this film is probably not for you. This film has that silliness quotient very much in the air. And so for those for whom maybe that kind of film is not one's cup of tea, then that's okay. That's perfectly okay. But for those for whom this type of film is an entertaining one, or potentially entertaining one, I can strongly recommend it. As I say, the dialogue is spectacular in terms of its comedic value moments, and there are many of them here. And it adds to the thrill of this particular type of film. Also, it's called Cyclone, but a lot of the film can be said to be about the characters stranded post-cyclone, and the majority of the film can be said to be the results of the cyclone. There have been some comparisons made, say, to a film like Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat, if you know that film, which is also about a group of survivors that are trying to survive in this closed or enclosed setting of a lifeboat. Here is a similar type of situational circumstance, which is a group of passengers or a group of survivors trying to survive in this tourist boat type of lifeboat situation. And we get a lot of drama and a lot of focus on the people in the lifeboat, as well as people on the land, of course, but also on the lifeboat. And it's amazing to think just the types of tremendously far out, high-reaching character arcs and developments we get within the scope of this particular boat. I mean, this film goes places that are ludicrously entertaining and unbelievably just delightful in that B-movie sort of way. And so, as I say, if you like B-movies, then you're going to love this film. If you don't, then this is probably not your cup of tea. So it doesn't have to be for everyone. But if it is something that might strike your fancy, then I can strongly recommend it to you, because, as I say, it is a thoroughly entertaining film. There are a lot of moments of quiet, a surprising amount of, say, subdued moments, a lot of characters that are engaged in dialogue, and a lot of back and forth, a lot of tension, a lot of what-ifs, and a lot of hard choices that the characters are confronted with. And will they make those choices or not? That is a part of the drama that's involved in the lives that we are following. And so that adds a certain level of tension, of course, but that is always balanced or counterbalanced by the unbelievably vivid and almost pulpy feel of the B-movie vibe. And for me, that is, as I say, so much fun and so funny, laugh out loud type of laughs here for me. And it comes from the dialogue, it comes from the situations, it comes from how the characters seem to be reacting in this very grave situation, but it's in the delivery of the lines, as we see in or hear in the English dub version, that adds an extra level of entertainment camp value. And so this is a very, very entertaining, funny, outrageous, ludicrous film of the highest B-movie caliber. So the film Cyclone, and it has so many elements in it as well. It has, you have people stranded out in the ocean. So what are they going to drink? They're going to drink Coca-Colas. And then you have sharks that seem to be swimming for miles and miles and miles on end. And when will they strike? That is part of the suspense. We have the authorities on the ground trying to launch a rescue operation, but for some reason they can't seem to achieve their objectives within a certain amount of time, and there's a lot of panicked people waiting for word of their loved ones, and that also adds to a lot of the entertainment because you hear some of the dialogue and some of their backstories, and my goodness, there's so much ludicrous, funny, and entertaining, campy stuff that is revealed even in these relatively short moments of brief character interaction and dialogue. And then we get to what might be said to be the main attraction, which is the boat stranded out in the middle of the ocean with the survivors, and what will they do, and all their interactions and conversations. It can seem to be a film that is aiming for some serious moments, and some of them do work, and then there are a lot of moments that are so memorable in just how camp and funny and over the top a lot of those dialogues and situations are. And when we get to some of these special effects and action sequences, it's this really earnest and charming low-budget feel to the editing and the actual action sequences that actually adds, I think, to the level of engagement as far as I feel it as a viewer. And then added on top of that, you see these people, and they're really in the water. They're really working with, let's say, boats with water in them, and they are dealing with the elements in a certain way. And so kudos to everyone who is participating in this film. I think the overall result and the end result is something that, for my money, is, as I say, so thoroughly and absolutely entertaining on that earnest and so lovable B-movie way. And that's the magic of films like this, and that's the memorability factor, and is the special nature of films from the filmmaker Rene Cardona Jr. And so this is an example of this. I think for a lot of people, this is considered to be, say, a great entry point into the world of Rene Cardona Jr. And it is also, I would suggest, a wonderful example of a disaster movie in the 1970s. This is the film Cyclone. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time. I very much appreciate it. Stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.